Y'all know they're firing black people and people of color first, right? Whether it's the federal workers side or big tech like corporate America. Look at the unemployment rate of black people right now. It's a solid 3.5 percentage points higher than any other race. They're laying us off first. They're attacking us right now to take away our jobs. They're criminalizing being homeless because they know that a lot of us are check to check. They're taking away our health care. They're making food more expensive. And then they're firing us. Why do you think that is?
Y'all know how Trump likes to claim that he has done more for black people than anyone else? Well, then maybe he can explain why the unemployment rate for black people is now the highest that it has been since the pandemic. In July, it hit 7.2%. And y'all, this is directly contributed to that fool's anti-DEI agenda. The bulk of the federal workforce that was laid off was disproportionately black. But he has done so much. So again, I say, fuck Trump and fuck you for voting for him.
So I am part of the 300,000 black women that has been laid off out of the job force. I myself have been laid off for over 2 years, and to even get back to the job get back to corporate, get back to steady income has been very difficult. It's to the point where every time I get new strides in my bills, another thing hits me. This time is my credit card, and it's been hard to even pay them back because they add more fees each time you try to pay them back, and it's to the point where they're dragging me to court. So I'm reaching out to my TikTok people and see if they can push me, repost me, get me in front of those recruiters, get me in front of those hiring managers that actually are hiring tech sales people, anybody in tech, consultant, analyst roles.
100,000 black women and femmes left the labor force. Yeah, in just 3 months. And that's not a coincidence. That's what happens when Trump's policies come for us first. He gutted federal jobs where black women have always found stability. Things like education, healthcare, public service, jobs that came with benefits, a pension, a little thing called security. Poof, they're gone. And then came the DEI purge. Mentorship programs gone. Employee resource groups shuttered. Networking opportunities blocked. Basically, they've ripped out every ladder that black women and femmes have used to climb. Student loan debt payments are back and have doubled. Mine have doubled. Black women also carry the heaviest debt load of any group because they're one of the most highly educated groups but don't have the same resources to get through school debt-free. And once in the workforce, black women and femmes only are making about 64 cents to every white man's dollar. Automation is also taking over jobs where black women have been overrepresented while we're excluded from the high growth tech roles replacing them. And here's the gag. Over half of all black households with children are led by black women and femmes breadwinners. I'm the breadwinner for my household, and every 1% drop in women's workforce participation costs the U.S. $146 billion in GDP. So when they push us out, the whole economy loses. And yeah, I'm feeling it personally. I mean, I left my job to do justice work, environmental justice, racial equity, community empowerment. And I've trained orgs, helped build programs, help communities fight back. But many of the organizations that I've worked with have backed away from this work out of fear. And that means that my contracts are vanishing. My income is tanking. And the work that I was told was too important to lose suddenly isn't being funded. And it's especially disheartening because meanwhile, I see fascists that are losing their job for saying something racist, and boom, suddenly they have $1 million GoFundMe. But when justice workers are losing their livelihood for telling the truth, I'm seeing crickets. So if you want this work to survive, and I know you do because you're following me and we're learning together, the workshops, the training, the advocacy, we have to build our own mutual aid work network. And that means supporting people doing the work. My Patreon is open. I even have a $1 level, and every dollar helps to keep the lights on and the work moving forward and the fight alive. Because when we protect black women and femmes placed in the workforce, we are protecting a just and inclusive future. And surely that's worth a few bucks, maybe. All right. Thanks for listening.
Unemployment for Black women is above 6%, and if this was happening to any other demographic in the United States of America, we would be talking about it constantly. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit. Since February of this year, unemployment rates for Black women have increased month over month by at least half to 1%, which is huge. It is estimated by the Bureau of Labor and Statistics that between February and March, when the bulk of federal layoffs happened in the first round, Black women lost 250,000 plus jobs. That's huge. I think it needs to be explicitly said that it's not an accident that the president's administration has been targeting DEI as well as the federal workforce, because Black women are overrepresented in those job categories and in that workforce. And the targeting of those two sectors was a deliberate choice that was made in order to increase unemployment amongst Black people, and specifically Black women.
And here comes the big question, that if all these Black women have lost their jobs in 3 months, why is there no one calling it a national crisis? I guess it's time for us to stand up. Now, let me know in the comment section down below, what are your thoughts and what message do you have to those who have been unemployed or lost their jobs?
Like I said in my previous video, I got let go in February for saying that I'm only going to work my contracted number of hours, which was 35, and I had been working 55 to 60 hours a week. It's not even a joke. There was a report that I saw where over a 3-year period, over 80,000 resumes had been sent in, and Black sounding names received 35 to 45% less callbacks than the other race, which was white. It's an attack. That's all it is. It's a silent attack, but it's an attack. So with that said, if you need an analytics consultant or if you are an angel investor and would like to help a very nice person out, please get in my DMs and let me know.
300,000. That is the population of Barbados just wiped from the workforce in one full sweep. In response to this, Felicia Butterfield just launched the Global State of Women Relief Fund, issuing emergency grants of $500 to $1,500 to help impacted women afford food, childcare, or rent, the essentials. Because it's emergency cash, this is non-dilutive funding. You don't have to give anything away to get it. You just have to be a person in need, and there are so many of us right now. If you or someone you love need support, please share this and encourage them to apply. If you yourself do not need support, but you can resonate with this message, make a donation. This is a collective relief fund, so the number of grants that are written is going to strictly be based on how much money they can raise. The application to get relief or make a donation is at the top of my profile. And if you can't donate, don't feel bad. Times are hard for everyone, but please at least share this with someone in need or with your followers. In the meantime, stay encouraged. Oh, and if you're at Crop Over right now, buy one less rum punch. Just one less rum punch and make a donation. Every dollar counts.
Given that Black women have the highest level of education in this country, and it's been proven over and over again how intelligent and their voting, their decision making, their business strategies, etc. But isn't it interesting that right now the group with the highest level of unemployment is Black women? Over 318,000 jobs gone in the last couple months since Trump came up in here, Doge came up. Isn't it interesting? You don't think they were targeted? You don't think they were targeted for their intelligence? It's just random that they were the ones who were working in the Department of Education. They were the ones working at HHS. It's just a freak incident. I think sometimes we don't draw the parallels. We don't put the dots together. Here's your ellipses. Smartest group, highest level of unemployment just over the last couple of months. ...
By now, you most likely know that Donald Trump has fired the head of the Department of Labor Statistics because of the horrible job report that came out only 73,000 jobs were added to the economy. But what was also in that report is that unemployment rate has risen for Black Americans as a whole. We're currently at 7.1%, and for Black women, we're at 6.3%. Quick correction, according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, the unemployment rate for Black Americans is currently at 7.2%, and according to the Joint Center, it is at 6.7% for Black women. Yeah, I know. Macy, loud. It's hot. You know, I had a crash out earlier, and I haven't had a good day. Today is not a good day. But I was talking to a friend, and then just kind of made the decision to do what I want. It's just time to do what I want. And by doing what I want, I mean just taking a risk on myself with different things. Like, that bug almost took me out. I've submitted all the applications. I've updated all the resumes. I've done all the cover letters. And applying for a job is stressful, but it's even more stressful when knowing the numbers are not in your favor. But I've decided to just kind of lean into what I believe and trust and know that in due time I'll find a job. But also reiterating that this experience is one that more people will start experiencing soon if there's not some form of course correction. All that to say, to my sisters that look like me, that are fully qualified, that's been in careers and jobs 10 plus years, and you find yourself in the same boat, we're in this together, sis. I see you. I'm going to keep saying it, even though I've seen more reports now talking about it, but definitely not enough, and definitely not enough people speaking to the implications that this means for the entire economy, because right now it's only really Black women being impacted disproportionately. So again, sis, you're not crazy. It's not your cover letter. It's not your resume. It's not that you were unqualified. It's just the times we're in right now, unfortunately. So yeah, we're gonna go work out. We're gonna put our hair up in a puff. We're gonna go work out, and we're just gonna try again tomorrow. And that's all we can do is just keep trying. So keep trying, girl. You're not in this by yourself.
Over 300,000 women of color have left the workforce in the United States. That's about 2% of our GDP, and I don't know if y'all know how devastating that's going to be in years to come. Large portion of them are actually leaving the United States. We are literally seeing groups of these amazing women of color moving to Portugal, Spain, Thailand, places in Africa, and rebuilding and restructuring their lives. It's one thing that a Black woman can do, and that's definitely concretize her situation. It's a phrase that I coined called situational wealth. Forget about generational wealth. We going to make our situation work for us, whether we doing some hair, we teaching, we preaching, we're going to make it work. So they are going to places where they are appreciated, loved, cared for, and people actually value their education and their experience.
Because when we think about the disaster that this government is causing, we think about issues that are affecting us, in our faces, right? We see ICE, people are raising mutual aid funds, people are, banding together to do what they can on the local and federal level to protect the people who are at risk of getting kidnapped by ICE, right? Now, when we think about Black women and the employment rate, that is an attack. And how is that an attack apart from the obvious reason of loss of income? It's an attack on the Black community because if 300,000 Black women are out of workforce, that means 300,000 homes are losing their incomes. Black women are generationally the breadwinners in the communities. They're the breadwinners for mutual aid. They fund community projects in churches. They lead when it comes to financial management. And in homes, they most often earn more because they're the most educated and most entrepreneurial group. So if Black women are losing income, the Black community is losing income. And the Black community is losing income in this government, a generational wealth transfer will happen and it will pass us by. So I'm going to keep talking about this, but if you're listening, I want us to be more active. Talk about those conversations with people around you in the workforce. If there are initiatives that you can bring about, if there are social impact budgets that you can help raise to aid this actual attack, please put it to the forefront. I think more of us are not thinking about the long-term goal, and the long-term goal is if black women are unemployed, if black women lose income, the black community will lose wealth.
For black pastors. I'm going to connect the dots on some things, and I want you to be talking about these things to your members. Most of your members, the majority of your members are black women. Hold that thought. Black women voted for Kamala Harris at 92%. Hold that thought. The job numbers that came in last week show that jobs are down significantly. Hold that thought. Unemployment is up for black people. Unemployment for black people rose from an all-time historic low under Biden-Harris of 5% to now it's over 7%. Hold that thought. Black women have lost 300,000 jobs so far this year. And you ask why? Because black women over-index in working for the government, and Trump and Elon Musk decided to fire a bunch of government workers, federal workers, that disproportionately impacted black women. Now you put all that together. Most of your church members, the givers, the money givers, are black women. Those black women voted for Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. The job numbers show that we're entering a recession and jobs are down. Black women have lost 300,000 jobs, and unemployment is up for black people overall. Now, far too many, not a majority, not all, you gotta say that because the internet goes crazy, but far too many black preachers were on these social media apps and in the news pushing down on Trump. And then another segment were disassociated from the election altogether. And now we're seeing the effects of that. We're in August, we're seeing the effects of those tariffs, him and Elon Musk attacking federal workers and firing people, and other companies now starting to lay off people. And as we always know, black people are last hired, first fired. And the numbers are once again proving that that is true. And something economists know, and you can search the internet, they're already talking about this, that black workers and black people are always the canary in the coal mine. That if when something's bad going to happen in this country, or when something bad happens before it spreads to the general population of particularly white people, it happens to black people first. So this message is for black preachers. And if you are one of my followers and you see this message and you go to a black church, you tell your black preacher, respectfully, they should be talking about this right now, because you are going to feel the economic impact of black women having fewer jobs. That's going to hit your church budget, those building funds, those pastor and wife anniversaries. It's going to hit all that stuff. I need y'all to be loud about this because midterms are coming.
To my 300,000 black women and counting who have been laid off and are now trying to figure out what the next step is. Rest. It is not a luxury. It is not something that has to be earned. I understand that you're trying to figure out, well, how are the bills going to get paid? I don't want to be displaced. I got children to feed. I got this. I got that. I want to do this. I want to do that. Rest. Okay? When you realize that rest and you've been given this time, because you got to understand what's happening here. They're pushing us out because they want us to be in a certain place. But when you have dominion over yourself and your nervous system, and you are not reacting through anger and fear and frustration in the way that they want you to, you become lethal, you become powerful, you become everything that they're afraid of. Do it. Do it. Because when a black woman is healed, quiet, loved, and embodying her creative arts and is not frustrated and, of the world and its mess, she becomes powerful. So take the time. I understand. You're like, but the money, I gotta be able to do this. I gotta. You will be able to do that. And then some. But understand that endlessly applying to jobs while ignoring the part of you that's begging to come out, especially at a time where wealth is transferring and you can be a part of it. It's not saying that, you have to go and you just have to start a business. Everybody is an entrepreneur set. Yes, you do need to have investments. Yes, you do need to have multiple streams of income working for you without you overworking. But when you start to give back to yourself and you take that time to rest and get in your creative arts, you will start to see you become a magnet to the things that you not only require, but that you also desire. I get it. It can feel like, well, how do I do that? Where do I start? We were just on live talking about this, and this was unexpected. So I came and decided to make a video about it as well. I think I'll share those clips from the live where I was talking about all the different books and things that I've had and that I even listened to for free. Here's the thing. None of the things that you're going after will mean anything if you are not the person that you need to be in order to harness and expand and multiply on it. So take the time that you require to go start listening to audiobooks on YouTube, go painting, go sign up for ClassPass. They have, free classes that you can take. Start moving your body. When you get out of your head and into your body, you become lethal. Not only do you become lethal, but everything that you, again, desire and require will be breaking through concrete to get to you. Nothing will be able to stop it. So do the opposite of what they want you to do. They want you to panic. They want you to fuss. They want you to feel hopeless. They want you to feel angry. They want you to feel like you're at your wit's end and your last straw. That's why I couldn't get with certain movies. Rest. Go lean in luxury. Lean into the other forms of currency that you have to build this currency for you. Love y'all. Stay up. We're going to be talking about more of that on this channel.